So in the midst of all of the insanity involving Epstein et al., this might have passed by your notice yesterday, but the French president, Emmanuel Macron, and his wife are now suing right-wing Trump ass kisser Candace Owens. Now, if I need to remind you, Candace Owens is, she's been, I guess, put out into some state of exile because of her raging anti-Semitism. I mean, if you've lost Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire from where she got fired, or let go. And then if you've lost people like Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA, I mean, it's got to be bad, right? And not only is it anti-Semitism, I mean, this woman has sat down with people like Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers. She has anti-LGBTQ plus espoused conspiracy theories and views, which are adjacent and relevant to the lawsuit that we're about to talk about. She has said that Judaism is a, quote, pedophile-centric religion. She's mentioned and talked about blood libel. I mean, all of this is available information from the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. But let's talk about this lawsuit that's been brought because it's a doozy. And we're glad to see it, right? So it's a 219-page lawsuit that has been brought in the state court in Delaware. So let's stop right there. You may ask, why Delaware and why state court? Well, look, at this point, I think state court actually fits the reason why these claims are being brought. There are 22 counts of defamation and false light defamation. And also, Delaware is where Candace Owens' businesses are located, and those are actually being sued as a part of this lawsuit. And if you look at the lawsuit itself, again, it's 200-something pages, and the exact style of the lawsuit is in the Superior Court of the state of Delaware, Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron suing Candace Owens LLC, and George Tom Inc. as defendants. A jury trial has been demanded. So it is a incredibly detailed lawsuit. And if you want to really get a flavor of why this lawsuit is being brought, I invite you to read it. It is well written. We're going to get into the lawyer who's representing the Macrons in a second. But I got to give the plaintiff's lawyer credit. He's just really drafted an incredible lawsuit here. And here's the thing. You know, a lot of people would say that it could just end up being the Macrons reaching out and saying, none of this is true, which they have done on record. But you know what? How do we deal with a bully? Sometimes with a bully, you have to punch back and you have to punch that bully in the nose. And this lawsuit is exactly that. This lawsuit punches Candace Owens in the nose. And despite her false bravado that she doesn't care and she welcomes this lawsuit, claims that I think are outrageous because, again, these are the Macrons that are suing. Despite her bravado, which I think is false, she's going to have a hell of a time in court. Okay, so let's talk about this. Again, it's a 22-count defamation lawsuit that's been brought. And it's been brought here in the United States, as I said, in the state of Delaware. And according to this lawsuit, it alleges that that Owens has been on a campaign, a relentless campaign of defamation against the Macrons. Now, the Macrons are represented by the law firm Clare Locke, and it is high-profile, high-stakes litigation firm. You may recognize the name of the firm. It is one of the primary chief co-counsel alongside Sussman Godfrey, representing Dominion Voting against Fox News. For what? Defamation. And as you know, that resulted in a $787.5 million settlement that had to be paid by Fox News. And so this law firm, Clare Locke, is no stranger to major cases. So Clare Locke being on that lawsuit. In addition, they've done other record-breaking multi-million-dollar defamation lawsuits. I invite you also to go and check out the website for this law firm because it is most certainly not a joke. Tom Clare is one of the named partners from this firm. He is the primary lawyer for the Macrons. And when I tell you that they're not playing, they're not playing. So again, this lawsuit, according to Tom Clare, he tells CNN that this was, quote, really a last resort. We have attempted to engage with Candace Owens for the last year, putting evidence in front of her, request after request after request that she just simply do the right thing. Enough is enough. Like I said, we're glad to see it. So there's at least 99 pages alleging facts. And the way it's set up is, in support of these 22 counts of defamation and false light, it basically sets forth the history and the chronology of Candace Owens' defamation of the Macrons. But what it does is it interjects evidence that controverts, that opposes the claims that Candace Owens has repeatedly made. What are some of the false statements that have been made about the Macrons? One, that Brigitte Macron was born a man and transitioned to identify as a woman. So let's stop there. It's not true. It's a lie to say that about Brigitte Macron. But let's just say for argument's sake it was. Who cares, right? Who cares? But Candace Owens, she wants to be a transphobe about this, so that's why she cares. And so that's the reason why she wants to sit there and stir up her base and make them angry about it. So that's why she's accusing Brigitte Macron of having been born a man, transitioned to being a woman. Another lie. Brigitte Macron statutorily raped Emmanuel Macron. Another lie. That the two are related and have engaged in incest. And another lie, that the Macrons have abused their power to conceal their scandalous past. The lawsuit directly refutes these claims by Candace Owens and says that not only are these claims demonstrably false, and not only are they defamatory, but that Candace Owens, knowing that they're demonstrably false and knowing that they are defamatory in nature, that she actually, quote, laundered them, these falsehoods, in pursuit of fame, and that she monetized these falsehoods to be able to achieve some measure of commercial success. So again, as the lawsuit is currently drafted, you can see that it makes an allegation of what Candace Owens has said, and then it refutes it with a direct piece of evidence, including photos of Brigitte when she was a young girl, the newspaper announcement of when she was born as a girl, the fact that she has given birth to 3 children as a woman with her first husband, etc. Now, the lawsuit also, listen, there is a phrase in Spanish that we like to say, no hay pelo en mi lengua, there's no hair on my tongue. There is no hair on the tongue here, my friend. This is what it says here. It says, Owens has a career of, quote, routinely peddling misinformation under the guise of legitimate reporting, and that she has built a brand on provocation, not truth. As I mentioned, she used to work as the comms director at Turning Point, and then she used to write for Daily Wire, both of which she is not affiliated with anymore. Again, I think it says a lot when you've kind of split from people like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. The lawsuit also alleges that Candace Owens monetized her defamatory claims about the Macrons by selling merchandise and by making money off of her podcasts and off of a YouTube miniseries that she created about Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron. And the name of that series was called Becoming Brigitte. It was an 8-part video series on her YouTube channel. And that even though there was a detailed demand letter saying that she needed to retract these false and defamatory statements about the Macrons, she went ahead anyway with this 8-part video series, even though, according to the Macrons, everything within that video series is a lie. The lawsuit goes on to say that Owens' conduct reveals a clear motive to generate controversy for financial and reputational gain. She will say anything, regardless of how outrageous or unfounded, to attract attention, build her platform, and achieve notoriety. So let's talk about the legal standard that the Macrons have to be able to prove here, because that's incredibly important. It's an actual malice burden of proof. So in defamation law, when you're dealing with public figures like the Macrons and they're suing for defamation, they're going to have to prove that Candace Owens, when she was making these false statements about them, that she either knew that they were false, right? She just knew that they were false statements, or that she had such a level of disregard that it was reckless, that she was reckless with whether or not they were true or false. She just basically said, I don't give a shit, I'm going to say it. And so that is the legal standard. And it's intentionally sounds like it's high, right? Because of course, when you're dealing with public figures, you want to make sure that people are allowed to express their opinions and they're allowed to make statements about people, but you want to make sure that when they're saying it and they know it's not true, or they just really don't even bother to find out if it's true in any sense of the word, that they actually have to pay the consequence for it. And by the way, pay is very important here. Macrons are seeking punitive damages in this case in an unnamed amount. And you can imagine exactly how much money might be at issue here, because it's not just reputational harm for the Macrons. They are saying that they have suffered substantial economic damages, including the loss of future business opportunities. They've also said that as public figures, right, they know that when they are going places, including globally in the context of the work that they're doing on behalf of France, that people are looking at them, because it's not just limited to the United States. As we know, the power of the internet is that it goes everywhere and then some. And that is the reason why it's now being spread in the US and in Europe and in Russia, they actually note. So what's happening here as well is that the craziness about these lies have been spread to the point where, for example, people like Joe Rogan have actually been echoing what's going on here. And this is really important for you guys to know. So it's not just Candace Owens saying stuff on her YouTube channel or on her social media. It has gone so far as Joe Rogan, who in March and April of this year, he has a YouTube show that has more than 20 million subscribers on his channel. He said, quote, that he believed Candace Owens' claims. Quote, yeah, Brigitte Macron's a man. She got me hook, line, and sinker. Then Rogan says regarding Candace Owens that if Candace's claims were false, she would be getting sued right now. They would sue her, end quote. I guess Joe Rogan was prescient, huh? I guess he knew that this was going to happen. And Candace Owens herself, in December of 2024, when there was a Macron demand to retract her false claims, she said, quote, bring it, as in sue me. I'll run down to the courthouse and file the lawsuit for you. I might even cover your legal expenses. Well, Candace Owens may end up paying more than just legal expenses. She may end up paying, through her companies especially, a lot of damn money. Since this lawsuit, Owens has just doubled down, tripled down on her falsehoods about the Macrons. She continues to call Brigitte Macron a pedophile and a groomer. And she actually says now that she's going to try to depose convicted felon Donald Trump in the legal proceedings, because Owens claims that Trump called her earlier this year to say that he personally confronted Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, about questions surrounding his wife's gender. Are you freaking kidding me? You mean to tell me? I mean, Trump does and says dumb shit. And listen, maybe he did say this. Wouldn't that just be so fitting? But really? That's the type of stuff that he asked Emmanuel Macron? You think Macron would take that lying down? I don't think so. Candace Owens also said that her lawyer is going to sit across and ask Brigitte Macron questions about her penis. It is disgusting. It is disgusting that somebody is allowed to spread this type of filth about someone. And listen, and again, it's just a reflection that Candace Owens is famously anti-LGBTQ and transphobic views. It's all playing out right here. Now, the legal process is going to be very clear. Candace Owens is going to have to be served with this lawsuit and respond to the lawsuit. It's being brought here in the United States. It's not like she's going to say, I got to go somewhere else to do it. It's being done in Delaware, so she has to respond. I reasonably anticipate she'll file a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. There is going to be some back and forth on that. And then once it actually gets past that motion to dismiss stage, then the case will proceed with discovery. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Candace Owens justifies what she has done here, because listen, the lawsuit makes clear that what Candace Owens has done wrong as well is her sources for her defamatory claims are people like these two women in France, one of whom is a self-professed clairvoyant, and the other one is a self-professed amateur detective. Those two women have been sued by the Macrons in France. That lawsuit has been appealed. The appellate court actually found in favor of the women on a very nuanced legal issue, and the Macrons have since appealed that to the French Supreme Court. I mean, you got to give the Macrons credit for punching a bully back in the nose, right? I mean, there does come a point where this type of abuse has to be stopped. And in order to do so, you have to sue. And this is the place of recourse. And according to the lawyer for the Macrons, as I've noted, they gave Candace Owens repeated moments in time to stop herself and to retract what she has said. So we're going to watch this lawsuit carefully. It is an unusual one. And no, it is not an attack on the sovereignty of an American journalist. It is not some type of bizarre foreign attack on American independence. It's nothing like that, because trust me, none of us are coming to the rescue of Candace Owens. None of us journalists are in America. But let's watch this lawsuit carefully, see where it goes. And in the meantime, I'll see you on the other side. Katie Phang here. We launched the Katie Phang News channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.